Hi everybody, it's Kathy here and it's Thursday, so that means that we're keeping it simple sometimes. Get ready to scrapbook with me. Remember last week we created this one with our scraps. So if you didn't get to it, I'll put a link up above here for the video from last week so you can go back and create yours and you can join in on the fun as well. So what I've done is I've chosen two 3.5 by 5 and 3.5 by 5 photos, and I've pulled out a whole lot of scraps that match the colours from last week's layout that we created, and I'm going to use that to match the photos. Now I am going to double matte. One's going to have the wood grain in the blues and the browns, which are the colours of the layout, and the other one's going to be in that smoky blue, steel blue, which I absolutely love, is my favourite blue colour. I'm then going to add in some extra of this leftover from the paper that we used on this layout, which I kept specifically for this reason, so that I could tuck it in and add some more in behind, layering up nice and easily. So what we need to do is we need to cut the matting up ready for the photos. The photos are 3.5 by 5, so the first mat is 3.25 by 5.25, and the second mat will be 3.75 by 3.75 by 5.25, and 4 by 5.5 is your second mat. Sorry about that, pencil block. I'll put those cut details down below. Then once I've done that, I'm just using, like I said, that extra piece that I cut, and I'm going to put that in behind the photo as an extra layering, and that just adds another point of interest where we've got the 3 horizontal lines that we're sitting the photos on, and we can tuck in another one behind, and that adds another point of interest. Likewise for the little quote that I have gotten, and I've got this from a cut apart Kaiser Craft paper, and just go through your stash, guys. If you haven't got a quote, go through your ephemera and find something, or print one out on your computer, cut it out, print it out on the cardstock and add it to your layout. So this one here, it says, grow old along with me, the best is yet to be. And this is my daughter and my son-in-law, and they were at the beach. We were at the beach at that Stanwell Park beach. So I'm just readjusting that because it's not straight. And then I can put my photos in, and it's okay to overlap your photos. If you've got dead space in your photos, it's great to tuck them in underneath. Now I play with this layering of this paper here for a bit until I realise that it actually looks better up there, and the fact that it's on the slant really draws your eye across to the slant of the brown ledger paper that I have underneath. So that's just another piece of scrap that's gone in behind, and it's really simple, but it looks really, really effective. So the layering of your scrapbook layout is actually just putting pieces of paper under things and building them up until you're happy with the overall effect. So you saw how easy that was. We had that square on the slant, and then we just lay it up on top. Now these are pieces of fussy cut from paper. So I didn't even ephemera shop for this one. I just used fussy cutting and a piece of paper with leftover pieces on it. Now if you don't have ephemera to go shopping through, then use your papers. You've got papers that have got big bold prints on them. You've got papers that have big flowers and big foliage and butterflies and all sorts of things if you look through your collections. And they may even be in your scrap pile. Just fussy cut around them, and then you can use them as your embellishment clusters. Likewise, if you have a lot of ephemera, go shopping through your ephemera for the colours that match your layout. And then you're just going to build 2 clusters, one in either corner, top left, bottom right, and that's going to set up a diagonal across your page. And then your eye is going to follow the photos, and if you have a look at that, my top left, where I've just put that butterfly, and my bottom right, where I'm going to put this butterfly, and then the photos are all now in a diagonal across the page. So I'm just putting some foam tape in under these butterfly wings down the bottom so that they stay up off the page and add some dimension. And then I had fussy cut out these hearts out of the paper on the reverse side of the paper where the butterflies were, there were these tiny little hearts, and I fussy cut around those. And that's my layout. Now, just to finish it off and to zhuzh it up a little bit, I've added in some Nouveau drops to the corners, which you'll see me do now. And that's just something to finish it off a little bit. Now, you see when I'm doing a layout, I often sit there and watch and look at it and give it another thought. And that's why I went back with the Nouveau drops, because I felt it was just a little bit plain. If you don't have Nouveau drops, you might have sticker gems that you could put there, or you might have brads. And if you don't have any of those, you can always use a white marker or a black marker and set up the 3 dots situation. That set up the visual triangle on this layout, and that has completed the overall look for this one. So that's that layout done and dusted. There's the corner cluster there. You can see how simple and effective that is. Across to that quote, down to this little corner over here, and then the photos are in with that extra backing behind, and that layout is complete. Nice and simple, a horizontal, and set up the vertical. Oh, and most important, don't forget to date your layouts. It lets everybody in the future know when these happened. So as I said, that was my daughter and my son-in-law, and this will go into their album at Christmas this year, and they will get it as part of their Christmas collection of presents. So we're now sitting up ready for next week. Okay, so this time I've chosen 3 complementary colours. So my papers are leftover scraps, as you can see. Nothing new, all just leftover from previous layouts. This one's a Simple Stories paper, and the reverse side is absolutely gorgeous, but I really do like the diagonal stripe and the soft peach tone here. I have this one that I've got left over, and it's actual dimensional paper. That means it's embossed. And what I'm doing is I'm using a border punch just to cut a creative and decorative border, just for something as a point of interest, just something different. If you don't have a border punch, you don't have to use a border punch. You can keep it straight. You can use a ruler. You can freehand cut. You can cut a swirl into it. There's lots of ways that you can put a border onto your piece of paper if you do not have a border punch. Now, as I said, the other side is very nice, isn't it? It's lovely, but I just really do need that striped side. So I'm putting that down. I do believe I've already used that flower side on a layout, so it has appeared somewhere along the line in my albums. And this one has been sitting in a bag of scraps for about probably 2 years. So it's time for it to now land onto a layout. Same with this one. I've had that sitting in a bag for about 2 years as well. So I'm now putting these up. Now it can be a horizontal, it can be a vertical. You can flip this one many, many ways. Now I've chosen the darker colour just to make a bit of point of interest, and I'm torn straight down the centre. What I'm going to do next is I'm just going to cut that straight down there like that, and I'm going to tuck it in under that border punch, and that's going to give that next point of interest. And then the last little bit that I've got, I'm still going to use that as well. So I'm just going to put this down along that border line, and that will go from top to bottom. And I'm just taking it further into the striped side. And the reason I'm doing that is because when I put this decorative border punch edge over the top, I want it to show through. I don't want it to disappear completely. So I'm lining up the edge of my paper here. And I just use a piece of white flimsy paper that you get in your page protectors sometimes. That's what I use as my backing. Or you can use some of the old pads that were really flimsy and you don't want to use the prints that are on them. Just to return them over and use those sides as well. So with this one that I tore off, I'm just going to add this over to the left-hand side. And that's now got 2 points with the darker paper. And then I'm looking at it, and I know I've got just enough if I tear it down the centre and line it up like this. I'm going to tear it straight down the centre, and then I'm going to overlay it. And it might just be a matter of manipulating it so I can get the patterns pretty much lined up. And there you go. And now I have the third point with that tear. And you can see that every piece is now used on that layout. And that's how you use your scraps up. That's how quick and easy it is to prepare a base. Use those scraps up. Nothing gets wasted, nothing goes to the recycle bin because you're using them on a layout. You love them once, you'll love them the second time. And it's interesting because your combinations are different this time round. Mostly you'll find that you won't have the same pieces of paper on the layout if you do use your scraps to create a base in preparation. So I'm finding that that's half the fun at the moment, is the combinations that are coming up and the fact that they're getting into my albums, which is amazing. And I'm loving the fact that I'm starting to use these pre-made bases as a quick, simple way of getting layouts done with all the photos that we have lying around. Everybody has stacks of photos, and I'm sure everybody has years and years of photos they want to get onto layouts. So here it is. I could have it this way. This is actually a 4 one. I could turn it all 4 directions and it would look great. I don't know how I'm going to use it next week. You'll have to come back next Thursday to see what I do with this one. Thank you so much for coming back again. As I said, I will have the link for last week's one so you know how this space for today was made. So this layout you can have a go at as well. If you do have a go, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me if there's anything you want to learn or you want me to teach you in this Keeping It Simple. Something that will elevate your layouts. Thanks for watching once again. Happy scrapping till next time, and here's my next recommendation for you. See you real soon.